Why do we hold on so tightly to something that clearly isn't working for us? To someone that isn't treating us the way that we deserve to be treated? Who isn't loving us the way that we were meant to be loved? You know the scenario. It starts off with fireworks, an amazing connection. You just can't get enough of each other. And then suddenly he's not calling or texting like he did. He's out with his friends more than he's out with you. Or you just have some gut feeling that something has changed for him. He seems distant. Anytime a relationship I was in started taking this kind of turn for the worse, I did what so many of us do. I started hanging on tighter. Yeah, break out the stranglehold. I would get scared, and instead of taking a step back and reassessing the relationship and whether I still wanted to be in it at all, I just clung on like my life depended on it. I'd feel like I had to do something, anything, quickly, to turn it around because he had so much potential, because we had so much potential. After all, it had started off so well. It had to be worth saving, no matter what it took. So I would decide to show him that much more, just what I had to offer. I'd try sexier, prettier, funnier, more hip, whatever he clearly wasn't seeing. I was going to make sure to show him more. You get the picture. It was, of course, the very worst thing that I could have done in this situation. This type of behavior is not healthy. It's not honoring of ourselves, our own worth, but it's a really common reaction to the shift in him. Because when he starts pulling away from us, it brings out every abandonment issue we've ever had. And it leaves us desperately trying to turn things around by pulling out all the stops and becoming something so different from who we are, but everything we think he wants us to be. Everything, that is, except ourselves. So why do we continue to do this to ourselves? Why do we hang in there, remaining silent on what we're observing while we're pretzeling ourselves around to be whatever we think we need to be more of to get him and the relationship back the way it was? The worst part is, in reality, it only has the opposite effect. It brings the relationship crashing down even faster than before. But the good news about that is that we can look at this as a gift, because it's the gift of a clear message that things aren't quite right. It's like getting sick when our bodies are telling us that something's wrong. We're working too much, we're too stressed, or maybe we're not eating well, and we can then take steps to correct the imbalance. Well, the message here is similar. You're both on different pages, and there's an imbalance that needs to be corrected. And whether we like it or not, what we're seeing is who he is and where he's at right now. And that's the point, the present, right now. That ideal we have in our mind, those dreams that we've got, they're all ours, not his. And whether he'd be the perfect guy for us, if he'd just be more attentive, well, that isn't the point. He's showing us what he's capable of right now. That's the point. So what do we do in this situation? Well, there are basically 3 options. 1, be direct and ask him. I know, this is usually the hardest. If you're feeling like he's distancing himself and the two of you are losing the connection that you once had, you're most likely right. Something is going on. Our instincts are almost always spot on in this regard. So we know he's not where we are, not on that same page as us right now, and he's not quite sure how to let us know except by putting some distance between us. He's afraid to tell you how he's feeling directly. He's not a guy who's in touch with his feelings and can say what's going on. So be direct yourself and tell him how you're feeling, that you're noticing things have changed, and you want to understand why. Now, if you take this route, be prepared and open to hear the truth. He may say that he's having second thoughts about the relationship. He may be feeling like the relationship is just moving too quickly, and he wants to slow things down a bit because he's not ready yet. He may be afraid that he's losing his freedom. Maybe an ex has re-entered the picture. If the answer is any of these, it's so important that you know that knowing the truth earlier is always better, even if it hurts, and it's going to save you a whole lot of anxiety and even more heartbreak down the road. Now, he may also say that he feels like nothing has changed, and this may be because he's not in touch with his feelings or aware of his own changes in his behavior, or it may be that this is who he's always been after the initial honeymoon period, and he's just not capable of giving you more than you're getting from him right now. Now, if this is what it is, this gives you a chance to reevaluate the relationship while it's still early and recognize that you may be looking for something from him that he just won't be able to give you. Now, it may also be that he's not comfortable with this type of direct communication. And if you're the type of person that wants to be able to communicate directly, freely, and openly, well, then this is a really sure sign that the relationship is going to be on a rocky road, that you're not compatible in this area. Now, on the other hand, you may find out that the answer is more benign and you were worried for nothing. Maybe he's had some stressful situations at work that have had him really stressed out and preoccupied. Or maybe he's had some personal or some family health issues that he hasn't felt comfortable discussing with you yet. Finding out now will help to relieve your anxiety and may even wind up bringing the two of you closer than ever. Again, knowing the truth is always so much better than second-guessing or attempting mind reading, which we all know never works. If you're not ready to tackle things head on yet, there is another option, okay? Number 2, the second choice is to focus on yourself, to let it ride while making up the difference with your own life. So you enjoy yourself, you pursue your own interests, you follow your own passions, you expand your world, you take a break from thinking about the relationship, and you go to that art gallery that you've been wanting to check out, or you take that dance class that you've been thinking about. See, in this way, you're going to be discovering your true self, while at the same time, you're giving him the space that he seems to be asking for. And then take some time to reassess what you're really getting out of this relationship. This is a great opportunity to do that, because after getting a little space and distance from the relationship yourself, you might find that you have gained more clarity and you realize that it's not what you want after all. Now, on the other hand, you might find out that this little bit of distance between the two of you, that it actually brings you closer together when the two of you are together. One thing that men love is a woman who has her own life, and having your own life will make you more confident about who you are and what you want out of life yourself, and that can only make you more attractive. If all else fails, there is a third thing that you can do. You can let it go. If he has gotten so distant and pulled away so much that the writing is clearly on the wall, you can choose, yes, choose to let him go. Even if he shows so much potential, even if it feels like there's still hope. Because as hard as it is to admit to ourselves sometimes, some relationships are just not meant to be. And they can't be if you're the only one putting in all the effort. As hard as it can be to give up the dream of what the relationship could have been, at least in our minds, sometimes we find ourselves falling for guys that are just not the ones for us. And the truth is, you deserve better than that. Better than settling for something that's less than the real thing. Better than settling for someone who doesn't treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. Because there is always, always someone out there who will treat you better than what you've been settling for, what you've been accepting, if all that's been is crumbs. Someone is waiting for you to come along as much as you're waiting for him. The irony is that it's only when you stop settling for anything less than you deserve that you find out you don't have to. So there are your 3 options as a response when he's pulling away and getting emotionally distant. If you want more detail on what I consider to be the best option, watch this video right over here, and I will show you exactly how to get there. And if you have any stories that you'd like to share about your own experiences with him pulling away and getting emotionally distant, well, tell us in the comments below. You never know who you're going to inspire just by knowing you're going to